Have you ever taken that leap of faith? Jumped into something new and exciting, maybe like buying one of those cutting-edge electric vehicles. You pictured smooth green travel, right? But what happens when that future well, isn't quite what was promised? Imagine the excitement turning to frustration when that shiny new EV leaves you stranded. Not just once, but twice. And then, get this, you're told you have to pay a huge amount for repairs, even though it's still under warranty. Today, we're diving deep into a story that really hits home, right at the intersection of consumer trust and this whole electric mobility revolution happening here in India. Our mission: to unpack a pretty significant ruling from a consumer court over in Shivamogga, Karnataka. It involves a faulty electric scooter, a very persistent customer, and some major questions about a big company's warranty handling. We're going to pull out what this means for consumer rights, what it says about industry responsibility, and maybe most importantly, what it means for you, especially if you're thinking about adopting these new technologies.
And that leap of faith you mentioned, that's exactly it. It's really fascinating how one person, just one consumer pushing back, can suddenly shine a light on these bigger, maybe systemic issues. We've been looking closely at this case, not just, the nuts and bolts of the argument, but what it tells us about building confidence in green mobility as it goes mainstream.
Okay, let's set the scene. We need to go back to May 26, 2022. You can imagine someone pretty excited booking an electric scooter online. It's a big purchase, RS 1,051,071. They're ready for that eco-friendly ride. The scooter arrives not long after, June 10th, 2022. And it comes with these warranties that sound great on paper. An 8-year battery warranty, 3 years on other parts. That sounds like a solid promise, doesn't it? A promise of reliability.
Absolutely. That warranty, especially with new tech, it's everything. It's the bedrock of consumer confidence. It's the company saying, look, we stand by this. But here's the thing. Barely a month later, July 10th, 2022, the scooter just stopped. Dead. The dream kind of ground to a halt right there.
Wow, only a month in. So our customer, they do the right thing. They take it straight to the company's service center in Shivamogga on July 12th. And it gets repaired. So, okay, maybe you think, all right, just a glitch, a first-month thing.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? A bit of initial tithing trouble, perhaps.
But that hope, well, it didn't last. Fast forward quite a bit to January 9, 2025, still well inside both warranty periods, mind you. And the scooter fails again. Same problem. Or just failed again.
The details suggest it just failed again, leaving the customer stranded. Again.
Ugh. That feeling. The frustration must have been boiling over by then.
And this is where it gets particularly interesting. What happens when the promises made up front just don't match the service you actually get, especially with something so key? When the customer tried to use the warranty the second time around, well, they got a real shock.
A shock is putting it mildly. So they tried contacting representatives, right? But heard nothing back. Silence. So fed up, they take the scooter back to the service center themselves on January 18th, 2025. They also file an online complaint, doing everything by the book.
Following the process.
Exactly. Then, nearly 2 months later, March 3, 2025, the company finally gets back to them and tells them fixing the scooter, which is still under warranty, remember will cost, wait for it, RS 90,000.
90,000 rupees on a scooter that cost about 150.
Yep, more than half the original price. And, to add insult to injury, the company just kept the scooter, didn't give it back.
So the customer has no scooter and is facing this massive, unexpected bill for a warranty repair. That's quite a situation.
Right. So faced with this, what feels like a total breakdown of trust, their scooters basically being held hostage, they're facing this crazy bill, they did the next logical thing. They went to the Shivamogga District Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Their complaint was pretty straightforward. Look, the company didn't honor the warranty. They tried to charge this outrageous amount for a covered repair, and they kept my vehicle. Clear case of deficient service, they argued.
And the way the commission handled it is really noteworthy. They took it very seriously. Notices were sent out to the local service manager in Shivamogga, to the MD in Bengaluru, another company rep too. Standard procedure.
But here's the kicker. None of them showed up in court. Nobody from the company appeared to argue their side.
That's a big deal in legal terms.
Yeah, it resulted in what's called an ex parte hearing, which basically means, for anyone listening, the court had to decide based only on the customer side of the story because the company didn't turn up to offer defense.
What does that signal, though, when a major company just doesn't show? It could suggest they maybe didn't feel they had a strong case?
Or perhaps, and this is maybe more concerning, a sort of disregard for the consumer court process itself. Either way, it doesn't look good.
No, not at all. It implies either a lack of confidence or a lack of respect for the system designed to protect consumers. Neither builds trust.
So the commission looked carefully at everything the customer provided the bills, the warranty card, the communication attempts, all of it. And on September 1, 2025, they delivered their ruling. Pretty clear cut. They found that yes, Ola Electric and its service center were guilty of deficient service. No ambiguity there.
And the consequences.
They ordered the company and the service center jointly and severally, which is important to pay the customer Rs. 67,348.
Okay, what does jointly and severally mean here, practically?
It means the customer can claim that full amount from either the main company or the local service center, or parts from both. Basically, they can't pass the buck between them. Makes it easier for the customer to actually get the money.
Got it. So they have to pay that amount.
Yes. Plus interest. 10% annual interest starting from January 18, 2025, when the scooter was handed over the second time, until they actually pay up. And there's a deadline. If they don't pay within 45 days, that interest rate jumps to 12% per year. So there's a real incentive to settle quickly.
That's quite specific, and it addresses the financial loss. But what about the hassle, the stress of it all?
Good point. The commission absolutely recognized that. They awarded an additional Rs. 40,000 to the customer. That was specifically for the mental agony and the costs of actually fighting the case litigation expenses.
That's crucial. It acknowledges the human cost, the time, the stress, the sheer frustration involved in having to battle a big company for what you're rightfully owed. It's not just about the faulty scooter anymore.
Exactly. It validates the consumer's entire ordeal.
Oh, okay, let's zoom out a bit. This case, while specific to Shivamogga, feels like it taps into something bigger, right? We're seeing this huge boom in electric vehicles in India. People are excited. They're making that leap you talked about. They expect clean, reliable transport. They do. But EVs, they're different from traditional petrol or diesel vehicles, aren't they? You've got complex batteries, intricate software, different kinds of electrical systems. So when things go wrong and then the service isn't there, or you get hit with unexpected costs, especially under warranty, it really shakes that fundamental trust.
It makes you second-guess the whole proposition, maybe.
Potentially, yes. It makes that initial investment feel riskier than perhaps it should. It highlights how absolutely critical after-sales service is for this growing market.
So the takeaway for the EV industry seems pretty stark here. A warranty has to be more than just words on paper.
It has to be a genuine commitment. When a company, any company, quotes nearly $1 lakh for a warranty repair, Rs. 90,000,
Yeah.
that doesn't just break a contract. It risks pushing away the very people you need most, the early adopters, the ones who are enthusiastic, the ones telling their friends. And in today's world with social media, online reviews, word gets around fast. One bad experience, especially one this significant, can really damage a brand's reputation.
And, thinking about this, it seems this might not just be a one-off incident for this particular company. Our research kind of suggests a bit of a pattern here.
Unfortunately, yes. We've seen other rulings that echo similar concerns. For instance, back in July 2024, a consumer court in Bengaluru ordered them to pay almost Rs. 2 lakh, 1.94 lakh to someone who got a scooter with a whole list of defects right from the start. Malfunctioning panel, faulty horn.
Okay, so quality control issues there too.
And then in October 2024, down in Kerala, the Ernakulam Consumer Commission told them to pay Rs. 1.5 lakh because they seriously delayed delivering a scooter someone had paid for.
Delivery delays, quality issues, warranty problems. It paints a picture.
It does. And then there was that really extreme incident in Kalaburagi, Karnataka in September 2024.
Oh, right, the showroom incident.
Yeah. A customer, apparently completely frustrated after their complaints about a faulty scooter were just ignored, set fire to a company showroom, caused about Rs. 8.5 lakh in damage.
Now, obviously, we absolutely do not condone that kind of action. Violence is never the answer.
Never. But it speaks volumes about the level of sheer desperation and frustration some consumers must be feeling when they feel completely unheard and stuck with a product that doesn't work.
It's a really stark warning sign, isn't it, when people feel they have absolutely no other way to get attention.
It raises serious questions. Is the company growing too fast? Is its service network, especially outside the major metro areas, able to keep up with the sales volume?
That makes sense. You see comments online sometimes, right? Like that engineer Ravi Teja mentioned on X, pointing out that service problems seem worse in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
Exactly. And that's critical because if EVs are going to be truly mainstream, the support has to be there everywhere, not just in the big cities.
This Shivamogga case, though, really shines a light on the positive side, too, the role of these consumer courts. They give individuals a real way to fight back. It's accessible. You don't necessarily need expensive lawyers for these forums. It empowers ordinary people against big corporations.
Definitely. And the fact that this was an ex parte ruling in Shivamogga is powerful. It shows companies can't just ignore the legal process and expect no consequences. The court stepping in, awarding not just the repair cost equivalent, but interest and compensation for the mental agony that shows a real holistic understanding of what the customer went through.
It also puts Shivamogga itself in an interesting light, doesn't it? We hear about it being this rapidly developing city.
Yes, it's known for being quite dynamic, scenic beauty, but also pushing forward with infrastructure. They launched that public bicycle share system in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
And just this June 2025, the state's first flight training organization was announced for the airport there, Rashtrakavi Kuvempu Airport.
So it's a city on the move,
Mhm.
and this ruling kind of fits that image, a place where things like consumer rights are taken seriously.
I think so. Even with local challenges cities face, like maybe security issues at schools that have been reported, this consumer court decision is definitely a positive signal about commitment to justice for its residents.
Okay, so let's distill this. What are the big lessons here for the EV industry and for us as consumers?
For the industry, message seems clear. Don't just sell the tech, support it. Robust, reliable, accessible after-sales service is non-negotiable. A warranty isn't just marketing fluff. It's a serious legal promise. Be transparent, be accountable, and keep investing in the basics. Quality control, R&D, fixing known issues. You can't build a sustainable market on shaky foundations, especially when trust is so fragile with new tech.
And for us, the consumers.
Well, this case is a fantastic reminder that you have rights, and you have avenues to enforce them.
Don't be intimidated, essentially.
Right. If a company lets you down, doesn't honor its promises, bodies like the District Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission are there for you. Filing a complaint might feel like a hassle, but as this Shivamogga case shows, it can actually lead to justice, and relatively quickly, too.
So knowledge is power, basically.
Absolutely. Be proactive. Do your homework before you buy. Read reviews, not just the glossy ones. Really dig into the warranty details, what's covered, what's excluded. And crucially, check out the company's service reputation, especially where you live. How easy is it to get service? What are people saying locally?
Particularly important for EVs with their specific needs.
Exactly. Knowing about common issues, maintenance needs, that kind of thing helps you make a much more informed and ultimately more confident purchase. Being informed is really your best shield.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah.
starting from that one scooter breakdown in Shivamogga,
Yeah.
all the way to these big questions about consumer rights, corporate responsibility, and the future of electric mobility in India. It really shows how one person's fight, their persistence, can ripple outwards and potentially shape things for everyone else.
It really does. It hammers home that point.
Yeah.
Innovation is great, it's exciting, but it has to come with accountability. As we all push towards this greener future, the success of things like electric vehicles isn't just about the tech. It's equally about reliability and knowing there's solid support when you need it.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? As we embrace all this amazing new technology, how do we make sure our rights as consumers keep pace? How do we ensure that trust remains central to every single innovation?
That's the core question. And maybe cases like this one are part of the answer, showing that the system can work and that individual voices matter in pushing for that balance.